How's it going, guys, and welcome. Today, guys, I got a matchup between the Dwarfs, led by Belgar Ironhammer, and the Skaven, who are going to be led by Lord Skrolk the Plague Rat. So I feel like it's long overdue. I don't know if we've even had a Dwarf or Skaven matchup on the channel since Mortal Empires came out. So my apologies for the delay, guys. I definitely think it's one of the more fun matchups, so hopefully you guys enjoy this one. So up in the sky, I do have two of the gyrocopters with the steam cannons. And the cannons do really well against lightly armored targets, so clan rats, plague monks, sensor bears, and they even do pretty good against rat ogres. So I definitely think they're a very safe pick. And also on top of that, you know, the Skaven are one of those factions that don't have the best leadership. If you look at these clan rats right here, I guess 64 leadership isn't bad for just kind of a low tier infantry unit, but what's giving them that leadership? Looks like their base value is actually 45. So yeah, their flanks are secure. They're inspired by their abilities or something. What is it? Is it actually like scurry away or something? Strength in numbers. Okay, got it. So their base leadership is only 45, so if you're able to get some pretty good rear charges with the gyrocopters in the infantry line, they're also very good at that. They have 30 weapon strength in melee with 66 weapon damage and a pretty decent little charge bonus. However, you don't want them to get surrounded because you can see that the gyrocopters in melee only have 6 melee defense, so if you land them against like even clan rat spears or any low tier Skaven troops, they can definitely take quite a bit of damage, but gives you a lot of utility, mobility, pretty good at poking down the elite troops before they get to you, and hopefully they'll work out. In the front line, I do have a combination of longbeards. I have a couple of groups of miners with blasting charges because, I don't know, it felt wrong to go into this matchup without blasting charges because it's just going to be so glorious to see the rats get roasted by them. But yeah, they're not bad. I mean, honestly, clan rats and plague monks and all those troops have really low armor value. So the blasting charges, you know, as you guys have seen in previous replays, do excellent damage against lightly armored targets. So, but also the longbeards have charge defense against large and they're immune to psychology. So I've been facing quite a bit of doom wheel action in this matchup. So having that immunity to psychology is definitely going to be helpful there. For my Lord, you don't, as I mentioned before, and I'm kind of just sound like a broken record, but you don't need a ton of AP in this matchup. So I was kind of thinking like, okay, who's a really durable Lord that can just kind of stand and fight the Skaven Lords and deal with assassins and things like that? And Belgar's name just came up. I mean, he's extremely tankly. He has 120 armor, really good defensive stats, 55 melee defense, almost 70 melee attack. And with the Hammer of Angrand right here, he has over 500 weapon strength. So against Skrolk and assassins, and even against Queek, he's probably going to be pretty good. So I got a Runesmith over here with the Rune of Wrath and Ruin to slow, the Grumbling Guard in the back, and guys, the moment you've all been waiting for, the glorious Irondrakes have made a return to the channel. So this is one of the few matchups in which I think I would actually like consider bringing these guys, not as like a fan service, but yeah, like just wait and see, guys. They're pretty fun. I got an Organ Gun over here, a group of Dwarf Warriors protecting, and of course the Dragonback Slayer. So the Dragonback Slayers are going to be really good at dealing with rat ogres, and I think like having at least one group of Slayers, especially these ones, is, you know, pretty much a must in this matchup. So that's pretty much it for my build. I do also have a Thane back here, so hopefully it'll work out. For my opponent, he has a couple of groups of rat ogres, which are really solid. Mobility, armor piercing, I think it's a must include, but in order for them to be really successful, you do have to avoid artillery and missile fire. And again, the dwarves typically bring a lot of that, so definitely play a little bit careful when you bring these guys. Aside from that, in the front line, he's got some clan rats, he's got some storm vermin with the sword and shield, so probably just a little bit of durability in his line. The storm vermin have 34 weapon strength, which isn't terrible, but their AP values are relatively low, so they're going to struggle in the front line, but they'll probably just stand and kind of, you know, fight toe-to-toe with the dwarves, and it'll be atrocious, but they're not going to be cutting through any infantry terribly quickly. Clan rats, Skaven slaves, so pretty much a fodder front line, but in the back, here's his real meat and potatoes. So he has the plague monks, and you guys are probably wondering, like, why is he bringing plague monks? They're probably not great in this matchup. But if you have Lord Skrolk with the Wither, and let's see, he does have Wither, so it lowers the armor by 30, I think, or is it at 60? I could have sworn it's 30, but let me just double check to be sure. So it's, yeah, but it's by 30. So for example, if he's fighting on my miners or longbeards, he can lower their armor to 60, and for these guys down to 50, then the plague monks are actually going to be pretty good. In the back, you have some sensor bears, which aren't a terrible pick here. They're really squishy though, so if you have like Whirlers or, you know, even the steam cannons, you can do a ton of damage to these guys. And then more storm vermin. So guys, my apologies for the long-winded introduction. I think it's one of the first times we've had this matchup on the channel, so let's jump right into this game and have some fun. So my steam cannons, or my gyrocopters with the steam cannons, are going to be going after the sensor bears, because sensor bears cost 1100, and they hit like trucks. Even with the magic mitigation from the Dawi, you definitely need to take them out. So you can see the cannons doing some really good work against these guys. Picking off quite a few models. Yeah, it looks like they lost 4 models right there. So I'm just going to kind of keep poking. And I wanted to chase the rat ogres with them, but I figured, hey, the organ gun can kind of just, you know, turn and tee on these guys. And you can see they're taking quite a bit of damage already from that organ gun. So here's another volley. And look at these rat ogres. Man, they're getting punished pretty good right here. The organ guns just, man, they're so darn good. I mean, they tear apart infantry and cav so effectively. So I'm reforming my ranks in the front line. You can see the longbeards and these miners are getting ready to party. And the clan rats are definitely in for a rude awakening once they get close. And man, I can't wait to show you guys the Irondrakes. They're such a fun unit. Basically in the back, I'm just continuing to chase those plague monk sensor bears, getting a little bit of damage in, definitely worth it so far. And in the front, here comes the blasting charges. So they're about to be in range, and you can see the miners kind of winding up here, and here they come. Slow motion blasting charges into these rats, and it's going to do a bunch of damage for sure. So you can see they're getting tagged, getting sent flying. Always a good time to see that. And look, that's a lot of HP damage. Definitely worth it. Then the longbeards are going to charge in right here and get a nice I don't know if they do karate kicks. I haven't really watched Longbeards fighting in a long time in like hand to hand, but yeah, I feel like all the dwarves have some karate kicks or headbutts. So Longbeards will definitely massacre these clan rats and probably take almost no casualties, especially with the blasting charge support. The Iron Drakes are going to be moving up here in a moment, and the organ gun is going to be repositioning to take out those rat ogres. So here comes Iron Drakes. The Iron Drakes are ready to go. They're going to be moving up here, and also they do have the Discourage ability, so when they hit something, it does lower their leadership by 8, and they're just going to be roasting into these clan rats. A little bit of friendly fire, but the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass can definitely endure that, whereas these troops in the front line cannot. Over here, you can see the miners are engaging right here, and guys, this is definitely a very scary situation. So he did use the concealment bombs with his assassins, and Belgar is actually like isolated here, so he's taking a ton of damage. He has Trophy Heads, Libra Bonicus, Rod of Corruption, Rival High Talisman. Pretty much he's throwing the whole book of debuffs at me, and Belgar is taking a ton of damage, so a very scary beginning of the game. Everything else is going really well and pretty much is under control. My steam cannons are taking out his troops. You can see the Rune of Wrath and Ruin doing very good, but Belgar is almost dead. So man, such a rough start. The Iron Drakes got a little bit overextended, but it's not a problem for them. They'll just come in and roast these Skaven in the front, and man, that is some heavy metal action. Just seeing the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass fighting shoulder to shoulder with these Iron Drakes who are just blasting the Skaven through their ranks, that is incredibly cool. In the back, you can see the Rat Ogres are going to be kind of doing a dual-pronged attack, so I send the Dwarf Warriors here and the Dragonback Slayers to intercept this group, and I'm keeping the Organ Guns on these ones, considering they're going to be, fighting Dwarf Warriors, which is a really good matchup. So the Dragonback Slayers are definitely going to get in here and, throw some karate kicks, and these Rat Ogres will probably die in maybe 10 or 15 seconds. I mean, this is like the perfect dream matchup for these Dragonback Slayers, so you can see their HP tanking. I mean, so freaking hard. That's pretty good for me. In the front, though, Belgar is able to get away. He joins his fellow Dawi over here. The steam cannons are continuing to just waste these guys, just doing a bunch of damage. It looks like 53 kills and then 39 here. So most of that was actually against Sensor Bears, which isn't bad at all. I do have my Thane right here, who's going to be fighting the Assassin, but he does pop the Trophy Head, so the Assassins are really good duelists. I mean, even though they lack AP, he seems to do pretty well with that Trophy Head, so bit of a fight. Also, my Iron Drakes have reformed ranks, and man, they're getting some serious roasting on these Skaven. Just look at these Skaven slaves getting cooked right here. So man, this is awesome, and Skaven slaves have forward leadership as is. But when you're getting roasted by a bunch of Iron Drakes, you're definitely not going to last very long. So my opponent does pop the summoning ability with the Clan Rats right here and gets on the back of my Iron Drake, so very well played right there. They're definitely going to be held up, but they do have 125 armor, so they're definitely not pushovers. And I put them in guard mode, so they're still firing, and look at them just roasting these Plague Monks, and man, I feel like they're actually really good this game. Like, they're functioning well. So you guys can see the bounce power starting to shift in my favor, and he got a little bit wild over here. He has the 2 Assassins and Lord Skrulk, all of who are very healthy, so I actually used the Tormentor Sword to lock him down, and Belgar over here is kind of fighting with some of these Storm Vermin. My cannons are, still generating great results, 58 here and then 65 here, but again, I am starting to run out of ammunition. He still has his super scary core. So these Assassins have surrounded my Thane, who's putting up a good fight. He's very durable. He has 50 melee defense, but still, there's a couple rats, and it looks like that one got hit with the Organ Gun. So the Organ Gun, I'm trying to pin down Skrulk. You can also see my Iron Drakes are a little bit surrounded here. I do have some miners coming to help them out, but still, they're not able to really get free fire because of these Clan Rat summons. But as far as my troops go, everything's looking pretty good in terms of the infantry fight. The leadership fight is the big issue. I mean, he has 2 Assassins and Skrulk in perfect health. Belgar's almost dead. I do have this Runesmith right here, and my Thane is also being surrounded and just taking a ton of damage. So kind of just trying to work these guys down the best I can. The miners are able to fend off the Clan Rats, and you can see the Iron Drakes are going to get free, which is going to be really helpful. Over here, the Grumbling Guard are definitely cleaving some of the heads of these filthy Clan Rats, or Stormvermin actually. This is a pretty horrid matchup for my opponent. Really good AP on the Grumbling Guard. You can see 34 weapon strength with 26 of that being armor piercing, whereas the Storm Vermin aren't really going to have the necessary armor piercing values to take out the Grumbling Guard. So they're doing pretty well there. They do have support of some Longbeards, and the Longbeards are also really strong here. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass are fending off some troops there, and you can see the Iron Drakes are just going to be roasting these Clan Rats as they try and come back in. And man, that's got to be like one of the coolest things. And that did like 900 damage like instantly to those guys. So man, if you can really keep these Iron Drakes protected, they can do some pretty good work for you in this matchup at least. So over here you can see the Assassin is surrounded by the Dragonback Slayers, so this is kind of the turning of the tide. It was a little bit scary for me. The Runesmith does have the Rival High Talisman, but the Dragonback Slayers, they hit like trucks against lightly armored targets. So, the Assassins here are starting to take quite a bit of damage, and Skrulk himself is also starting to get worn down a little bit. But still a very close battle. The bounce power was a little bit more in my favor, but it's starting to kind of even out a little bit. You can see it going back towards the middle. My Organ Gun is going to be shooting at these Rat Ogres. I definitely need to keep them from engaging because their AP is going to be really good against Dwarf Warriors and Miners, and not so much against the Dragonback Slayers, but still. They need to be taken care of. So you can see my artillery or my gyrocopters out of ammunition now, so I'm going to be landing them, getting that nice charge bonus. And man, you can see the Jawi just getting ramshackled right here by these Rat Ogres, doing some really good damage against these miners with blasting charges. But thankfully, I do have the Dragonback Slayers here, and let's see how many I have left. So it looks like I do have 38. The gyrocopters are coming in, and also you can see the Iron Drakes are just going to be teeing off on these Rat Ogres. So man, what an epic game this has been so far. The Assassins are also taking a lot of damage because, again, their armor is really poor. It's only 20. So the Iron Drakes are definitely going to be solid. But my opponent, realizing that there's a threat, is going to be coming in with these Clan Rats. But honestly, I feel like these Iron Drakes, even in melee, could probably win this. And I do pull back my Gyrocopters to kind of help finish those guys off and protect. That's what's really nice about Gyros. You can kind of use them like Dwarvish Cav, in the sense that, like, if there's like a low tier threat like Clan Rats, they can like go around and help out and, you know, clean things up. So continuing to try and roast these Assassins right here. It doesn't seem I'm doing the most damage, but yeah, Skrulk's actually taking a little bit of work, but my Slayers are almost done. I mean, there's only 30 left, and they're probably going to get picked off by some of these Skaven slaves and Assassins because, you know, they do trade very, you know, violently. They have very little armor, so anything they fight, even Skaven slaves, they're going to take damage from. So my Organ Gun is back online, thankfully. I did have some Dwarf Warriors who were able to secure it in the back line. You guys can see the bounce power went up for me, and then it went right back down as soon as my opponent summoned some of these Clan Rats. And guys, Belegar actually did fall. I'm not sure what killed him. I think it was some of these Censor Bears he was fighting over here to the death, doing his people proud. But, you know, we'll see him in Karakate weeks. But yeah, definitely not a fun time for him. So Skrulk and the boys are able to kind of lay a smacking down on this Thane and actually force off my Runesmith. So all of my heroic units are pretty much gone. You guys can see the bounce power is pretty much dead even right now. Something that I have going for me, though, is a very healthy group of Dwarf Warriors. You can see the Organ Gun is going to be fending off these Rat Ogres in the back. My Iron Drakes are also still just roasting the Skrulk. You can see his HP is actually tanking relatively quickly against that Iron Drake fire. He does have all these Clan Rats who are going to be pushing back and shutting down my Organ Gun. Definitely not going to be good. The Dwarf Warriors, the Dawi standing proud, still confident despite their lord having croaked, are going to be charging in here and forcing off these Clan Rats, and since they're already disintegrating from the summoned ability, they should go down pretty quick. Skrulk is at, let's see how much HP. He has 1700 HP. The two Assassins are both, I think, below 1000, so hopefully I can wear them down. I have the Gyrocopters, which do have 66 weapon strength, so that if they get some pretty good charges, and you can see here they come. Charge bonus of 16, they send those Assassins flying. So some pretty good damage coming in from the shock of those Gyrocopters. And I have a ton of Dawi coming back. I got my Runesmiths, some Miners, Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, and also the Iron Drakes. So the Iron Drakes have pretty good ammunition left, having racked up 78 kills, which is pretty good. Like, normally they don't perform terribly well, but I feel like against this game, they might be a bit of a niche pick. So my troops are going to be collapsing on Skrulk right here. You can see I do have some Longbeards coming back from the distance. The clans are uniting, being summoned from the distance, and also a really nice summon from my opponent, realizing his lord and his assassins are getting surrounded. And Skrulk is very scary to fight in like close games because he does have Contaminate, so he can kind of you know, make leadership routes and issues like that. So the Storm Vermin are back, but you can see the Dawi Warriors are fending them off and sending them back to the Shadow Realm. The Miners do have really good AP, so they should be able to chop down some of these Storm Vermin. And man, those Storm Vermin are actually really big. But the Gyros are, looks like they're actually breaking right now. So it looks like this one group of Gyrocopters, are they breaking or are they chasing? I'm not sure. But the Runesmith is back. Hopefully he can do some pretty good work against the Assassin, who is very low. I mean, only 500 HP, and the Runesmith does have 200 or 320 weapon strength. And again, he doesn't have much AP, but against the Assassin right here, he should be fine. So the Assassin's going to waver and rout off. It looks like that's going to be pretty much all she wrote for the Skaven. You can see the last of their heroic units are brought low by the proud Dawi, and it looks like Belegar and his boys are able to take the day. So man, that was by far one of the most fun games I've had in quite a long time. I mean, being able to use Belegar, like, if you had thought before Mortal Empires or in Total War Warhammer 1, like, if you had asked me, like, is Belegar going to be useful? Like, you know, yeah, like, not really. I mean, you need AP on your lords, but in the Skaven matchup, I feel like he's really good. Like, a lot of lords like Ungrim and maybe even, I don't know about High King Thorgrim, he got a really big buff to his HP, but they would have had trouble when they got surrounded by all those Assassins and Skrulk. They might have even gone down. And Belegar was just standing and tanking despite all those debuffs. So very solid. Iron Drakes were great. Organ Gun did its work. And I honestly think that these guys are definitely a really important factor. And you do have to watch out for like the Warp Lightning Cannon, but Warp Lightning Cannon also does magic damage. So, and it did get a nerf to its accuracy. So I think you're a little bit safer to do these type of things. For my opponent's army, I definitely liked it. You know, he had some pretty good AP, but we were able to just win that frontline engagement. But man, I mean, it was a super close fight. So very well played at Stradivarius. Look forward to seeing you again on Ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this grudge match. Have an excellent night, guys. Take care.